Hello there, and welcome to episode 3 of my tutorial series for Whiskerwood. In this one, we are going to go deeper into the whole mining topic, pun intended, and we are also going to cover the longevity and the sustainability of our colony, because currently we're mostly strip mining. We have built up a little bit of a berry farm, but we have a lot of other things to do still. First up, let's recover from the pirate attack last time. You just need to click here through these and mark the buildings for rebuilding. That's all we need to do. But after these things are done, we will eventually run out of timber. This is one of the very first things that will hit us on this specific location. Sometimes you have islands that are just featuring so much timber that this ain't a problem. Here, as you see, we don't have the ability to go up here. We don't have elevators, and currently it would be a pretty big enterprise to get on that to that timber. So instead, we're going to farm it. That's one thing. And the other thing is I want to show you today how to manage the mining operations to a point that you can not only find the ores that you want, but also create building space and shape your colony underground. Whiskers are, after all, looking like mice, so they're damn good at mining. So, let's get started first with the longevity part of these things. Currently we are building a couple of cabins, and the stonecutter and the sawmill are all under construction. The minor setback here from the pirates doesn't hurt us that much, because the reward for sustaining through that are building materials and a little bit of machinery. Refusing the first pirate attack is really good for you because of that quest alone. We do want to pick up now as many whiskers as we possibly can get. But what I also want to try is to get myself somebody educated. So, educated apprentices and craftsmaster whiskers are really desirable because you can power charge a lot of businesses with these. So we take that educated person, but we actually will take up all of the others too. Because at this point, we have a fishing dock running, we have a gatherer running, and we have a farm running, which will in a few days crank out very reliably food. Because you gotta look at it like this. Each one of these fields is basically working like one of these berry bushes, just that you don't have 8 or 9 berries to pluck, but around 2 or 3 berries, depending on the fertility that you can harvest there regularly. So these need a little bit more space. They are less dense than these spots, but at the end of the day, this is basically like a forager that can be foraged almost every day, depending on the time of the year. Either way, we have the fisher and the forager and the farmer, and it's easy to sustain people like that. But if you want to know how things are working out, you can look here into the statistics menu and check out how much production these guys had. The fishing dock is even better because it has a overview about the produced amount of goods per day. Farms also have that kind of overview. So we can see here, currently the farm is outputting for the first time. When you have these statistics menus, you can easily evaluate if your colony is altogether food positive or food negative, which is really important to know. Okay, so what we are going to do today first, before we dip into the mining thing, is to prepare all the buildings that will sustain us in the longer run. So, first up, I will pause the construction of the stonecutter, because it's eating up the planks that I right now want to have for farming's sake. So, we're looking into the farming tool, and now we selected trees. And if you look around here, we have not the most fertile spot here, but this is a really nice spot to go for tree farming. So we're going to go over here, set up these guys there, set this to a high priority. The other thing that I want to set up today as well at the same time is flax. So when we look at this, we don't really have any good spots for this right now, right here. This is a little bit of a tragedy. So we have to wait until we have cleared out this area here. That's okay. Don't worry about flax too much. In the early game, you can avoid it to produce it if you are suffering from a situation like we do here. But I want to point out, flax is a material that the clause, the tax collector, will accept. So you have a regrowing resource, which is not finite like the ores are. Stuff like that is very desirable, and the earlier we set it up, the better. So, in that regard, we are going to go now and tell our friends the woodcutters, which are sitting both here, that one of them has now to move on over here. Let's see. This looks like a decent spot. Let's give them a little staircase here so they can start extracting the timber here. So we can use that farming space later. That's just important. So next up, we go and set up the tree farm. We can designate the area for the tree farming way before the farm is being built, so that's pretty nice. So we're going to go for this, and if you look at it, if we go down here, the nutrient value goes down, down, down. So we stick here where the crop fertility is with 74%. And we are going to go here for another one. It doesn't really go that well. We can't plant right here, right now, on top of the berry bushes. So I'll take this spot here too. And once the berry bushes are foraged away, we're going to designate the rest here as farming area too. Eventually, we will maybe claim also the area up here, but for today, it's a start. It's important that we start somewhere. We can enhance these later down the road as well. When we have a couple of staircases, I want to go for this area here too. I'll show you. So I want to set up here some farming area too. You know what? Let's not make it tomorrow, let's make it today. So a couple of stairs, and our tree farming area is pretty much well on the way. Let's put it like that. Okay, so now we have the preparations that we need. Our whiskers are rebuilding the stuff here, and our buildings here are also going forward. And let's start and talk mining. Currently, we are in a really good spot. We have enough coal and copper ore in our stockpiles to even pay off the whiskers when they come, the claws when they come next time. But we need a more serious mining operation in that regard. So first up, when we want to work underground, we can, or we need a different user interface. The slice view down here is doing just the trick. I've been working with that in the previous episodes already, but today I want to go a little bit deeper with the features. So here we're digging out a little bit of coal. So let's enable the slice view. And when we look at it here, we can now see that the top layer, this is, let's deactivate it again, pressing Z. This is, we see that this layer here is the one that we're looking at, and all this above is cut up. If we press now V, as shown down here, we can go down a slice. And now we can see that there's even more coal here. So let's press M and mine that out. This way we can check out where there's more downstairs. The same stuff, let's press Z again here, applies to regions like that. Here we don't really see anything. Press Z to go into the slice view, and already we can see there's more copper ore down below. Press V to go downstairs one more. And we see here now a very, very rich copper ore vein. Let's deactivate the mining mode to show it you'd hear there. So we're going to mine these out as well. And while we are doing this, we are also going to explore the remaining fog of war, so to speak, that is covering the area right here. Important to note is stone is basically the junk of the materials right now, because currently the only thing we can make with stone are inferior shelters, which are pretty good for the starter needs. So if you know your way around mining, you can also build these very early on and avoid a couple of plank houses, but they have a very, very low quality, and I personally try to avoid using them wherever I can. But beyond that, stone can currently only be processed into cut stone at the stone cutter, and that doesn't even have monetary value. So, in short, mining something out that does yield stone is easily done, but that stone needs to be stored then somewhere, because the central warehouse capacity is limited, and at the current stage of the game, our capacity to build storage areas, facilities is really, really low. The storage shed is really not that much of a good thing to work with, and yeah, it's just 55 units going in there, and it doesn't bring you that far. The interesting part now is that we can build also underground. This one here is entirely in the mountain. And we can do a lot of things underground. Whiskers are, after all, like mice, and therefore, like I said, they can mine quite well. So, with these things, we have a lot of the most pressing matters already covered. What we next need is to finish up the sawmill and the stone cutter. I stopped these just because I didn't want the stone cutter stealing the planks that I need for the farm. Generally, farms are always a more pressing matter than any of the processing industries. Factories are not as important as securing the raw resources, because without raw resources, the factories are just not producing anything. Also, food production is something you need to scale up as quick as you can. My experience is that these two buildings here easily sustain 20 to 25 whiskers depending on their feeding habits, you know? There's a lot of them just wanting something different, and therefore you can't completely put it together like that. But as you see here, our happiness now has heavily been hit by the factor that too many had to sleep outside. So, together with the impact from the pirates and the extra immigration that I put up there, we had a pretty rough night there. So, when you pick up a lot of people, always take into account that you need a bit of an approval buffer to go there. Today we're going to solve the housing crisis just with a couple of stone houses, because at the end of the day, a stone house is still better than just sleeping outside. That's very, very important to note. What you also want to have eventually are these service buildings, like the bathing dock and the cafe. But these are, again, things that you don't need immediately. And days like these, we're not going to accept any further whiskers. When you ever hit a bottom like today with the approval, you really have to work hard to destroy the factors, or avoid the factors that made things like these happen yesterday. It's really, really important. But we're on a good way here. I'm not too worried about that. So, in short, what we need next now to cover our sustainability is another farm up here to start planting flax. And once that is running, we can start putting up a weaver to make ourselves woven cloaks, which will make also people happier. At this point of the game, the colony's happiness and food stockpiles become the most important metrics that you need to care about. Because once you have enough food and enough stuff to pay off the claws, you're very much able to do your thing for a very, very long amount of time. It also is important that when you reach the point that we are at right now, you should always try to sell away as few of your finite resources as possible, like ore and coal and such, because we need these to grow our colony ourselves. We are not capable, at the end of the day, to just give away all of the things that we need. Otherwise, I mean, there are so many islands. You can always go to the next island and dig out the copper again if you sold away the copper from your main island. But that is not really necessary. Especially the items that you can grow on the farms are very, very powerful. That's why I really recommend on the supply ships that hit town, you should really try to get yourself a good starting stockpile of planks and cut stone. Because planks are not only hard to construct yourself, your average production of planks at the early game can easily be as low as 5 to 10 planks per day. It also is a research material. The planks that you get yourself from the supply ship are the planks that you can then put into your research tab, which is really, really nice. So for today, another nice trick when you are worried about the happiness for your people, pick up a package which has a lot of cloaks and a lot of hardtack. Today, the building material package is absolutely what I want to have because we are still in a building mood. The hardtack and the woven cloaks today will absolutely soften the blow on our happiness, and we don't need to worry about anything. Generally speaking, as long as you are positive in the debt like this, like triple or so ahead, you can easily just let things grow and develop. The next big milestones that we need to work towards to are the research projects, which all require a lot of planks. Also, all the things that we want to build require planks. But the good part about it all is that planks happen to be much more efficient than logs. Here we go. So we get a lot more planks out of one log. So all in all, we get to build more things than the other way around. Look at this. So the farm here, if we want to, since we are talking about farming today, as you see there, this farm has a pretty large perimeter. We can also go and make something like this happen, where we grow a little bit of flax up here, just on the topmost shelf. Because the farmers that plant the trees, you know, once they have planted their trees, these trees do their thing on their own. So tree farms go really well together with some industrial crop. Let's expand on that. Here we can now. No, it's complete. They go really well with an industrial crop because this way your farmers have something to do on their time. Oh, but here I made a mistake. So it's pretty good that it happened because it's something that everybody will happen eventually. Your whiskers can't enter like this. So press B to bulldoze it away, and press C here to copy a new staircase, like here. So this is something we can work with. Staircases are like that, and yeah. We also can take spiral staircases, but I found that these are the easiest to configure. Anyways, so with the things that we have done today, you can create yourself underground areas. Underground areas like these that we're creating right here can be then used to construct things. So this dungeon here that's been made can be used for the sake of building things there. One of the farms that we can learn, or one of the things that we can do is farm underground with mushrooms. So there's a lot of things why mining is extremely important to invest your time into. And the fun part about it is it multiplies the amount of space that you have immensely. Because, you know, at the end of the day, with the layers that we can traverse here, you know, -10, -20, 21 layers, as deep as that we can go. So there's really a lot of real estate around here, and yeah. So that's pretty much all I wanted to go for in this episode. One last peek of things to come. I strongly recommend you to go, once the flax is ready, to build yourself a weaver. And then we have to talk about services and city expansion, but that will be the focus on the next episode. What's really worth it researching very early on in my experiences are either the buildings out of plank, so you can make better housing, or mushroom cultivation if you want to go for underground farming, or the warehouse, which is my personal favorite because we are hitting the territory where we get into problems if we, for example, mine out too much stone, because like I said initially, the amount of workers here, the amount of material here that we need to handle is turning into a problem eventually. Alrighty, so we will meet again once the research lab has been built and we have some materials available to talk about services. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that it was helpful for you. I love this game for all the things that it does. You have a lot of freedom to build, and I do try my best in this series to give you an impression about what you can do and leave the rest to your own creativity. So if there's any questions open, leave them in the comment section. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, consider donating via Ko-fi or any other given means. I deeply appreciate all the help I get from you folks. And of course, many thanks for watching this video up until the very end. See you all in the next one, and have a wonderful day.